A very few people in our society show the generosity to those who are in need, especially when we talk about kids who lose their parents at the very age when they need them the utmost. Care, hope, and a future with dignity all children deserve, and so do the orphan kids. Putting effort to give a better life to such deprived children, Poulomi Pavini Shukla, a Lucknow-based lawyer and author, is doing the same, and recently she has been featured in the Forbes India 30 Under 30 list. The Times of India spoke to Poulomi Pavini Shukla and tried to know what prompted her to take up this social issue and what more she wants to do for the society.
This is a slightly funny story because the Forbes email had actually gone into my spam folder. So it was just coincidentally that I was cleaning out my spam folder that day and I came across this email from Forbes and I was like, are they asking me for a subscription? And I opened it and I was like, and then there was an email saying that, we would like to interview for Forbes 30 Under 30. And I didn't really believe it. I thought, I don't know why has it gone into spam and whatever. So I sent it to my husband and he's like, you should be excited about this. You shouldn't be worried about it. So that's when I started feeling happy about it. So the first reaction, I think, was a little bit of disbelief. This journey actually began very, very long ago when I was about 9 years of age. This is 2001, when my mother was the district magistrate of a district called Haridwar. In the 2001 Bhuj earthquake, some orphans from Bhuj came to Haridwar. And my mother took me to one of those orphanages and I became friends with these children. And we grew up and I was sort of in touch with them, and social media put us a little bit more in touch. And then when I went to college, one of them asked me a very simple question. She said, I want to go to college too. And I thought, that's a very good idea. She should go to college and I should find out a scheme or a scholarship that should enable her, because obviously she has no sources of funding. And that's when I started searching for schemes and scholarships and I was horrified. There was nothing for them. There was no way that the government was sponsoring this child to go to college, no matter how good she was at academics, no matter how bright she was, and no matter how deserving. And that fact really, it made me feel like a very strong sense of injustice. And that's how the story began. How do we not consider an orphan child weak? India is one of the very few countries that we don't have an official number of orphan children. UNICEF has estimated it. Other NGOs like SOS Children Villages have estimated it. And these are good estimates. But the government of India doesn't have an official number. They accept these estimates. And poorer countries like Chad, like Ethiopia, like Indonesia, these have proper surveys. So we don't even as a government, have an idea of the extent of the problem that we're facing. And the problem is humongous. We have 2 crore orphan children, more than the population of Sri Lanka. We need a massive policy overhaul. Like I said, first we need to have a survey of orphans so that we can have an official estimate of the numbers. Now we need to have small policy changes like the right to education. It doesn't mention orphans. And how can you leave out orphans in the right to education? Then we need to have scholarships and schemes for all adult orphan children. I would go to the extent, and I've asked the Honorable Supreme Court to extend reservation to orphans, because I think they are very deserving of it. In fact, the National Commission of Backward Classes has admitted that orphans can be given OBC status. And the state of Telangana has already done it. So I believe that, giving reservation to orphans, giving them equal opportunity. Another thing that we have is that orphan children at the age of 18 are told to leave the orphanage. Now, 18 is the age when most of us and our parents are investing so much in our education and in our lives. And these children, in a way, are orphaned again. So as a state, as a system, we are forcing orphan children, in the best of circumstances, to become blue-collar workers. I mean, it is like we are telling them that just because you're an orphan, you cannot dream beyond being an electrician or a plumber or, somebody who works in a beauty parlor. You cannot become a doctor or an engineer. And I think that is very unfair. So there is, in my petition in the Supreme Court, there are 19 prayers. So if I go on and on, it would be a huge thing. So these are the top things that I would say. Hi, I don't receive any funds. I have not started an NGO. I don't work with any NGO. My purpose of doing this is purely to A, raise awareness, and B, to try and employ policy change. So I do this on my own. This is my passion project. It is not a way to receive funds or anything. If anybody does contact me with anything that they would like to do for an orphanage, I find the name or number of an orphanage and I give it to them and tell them to do it directly. But I am not working with anybody. My demand is that when the child has no parent, then the state is the parent of the child. And it is my belief that the state should do as much as any parent would do for their child. That is, A, provide children a safe home, orphanages. B, have an idea of how many children the state has. C, provide children education and opportunities equal to as it would provide to any other child it considers weak. And D, raise public awareness. When we raise awareness about these facts and people ask us, what can we do? And I tell them, amplify their voice. These children have no voice. So if we become their voice, then the system and the government will listen. I hope too. I have a lot of issues which are very close to my heart. Feminism is one of them. I still believe that women are facing a deep amount of inequality. In fact, yesterday I was reading a study in which says married women are the highest proportion of suicides committed in our country. Who died by suicide in our country, and it's very unfortunate. And animal welfare is also an issue and I hope that my voice becomes stronger with the help of people.